Hi there, welcome to the video. This video is actually a part two of the series where we rebuild features from certain websites. In this video, in the first part of the series, we rebuilt the FAQ section from the website OpenCraft.com. So please do make sure to check it out. We built the design using the Nextjs and tailwindcss. And in this video, we're going to read the data, the question, and the answer for the FAQ section from our Django backend. So our front end is going to fetch the data from the Django backend and display it on the screen. So let's jump right into it. I have a Django project set up already, uh, and let's create our Django app. Start app. Let's call it FAQ, frequently asked questions. Right, you can see it created a folder called FAQs, and let's define our first model. I have already templates set up for these things, so that is faster for me. So let's call it FAQ, and as you can see from the design here, um, there's a question and an answer for every card. There's a question and answer for every card. So our model is going to have two fields. Uh, so for the question text, it will be a char field, and let's give it a max length of 200. And the answer text, which is going to be text field. So for the string, let's give it a return our question text. Alright, so let's update our project settings to include our app called FAQs, and just change the time zone to represent the time zone where I'm operating from, which is Dhaka. Right, so let's go ahead and make the migrations. Make migrations and migrate. All right. So once that's done, let's register our admin site. If we go to admin.py, let's admin.site.register FAQ. Let's import it. Dot models import FAQ. Right. So let's create a super user. Python and then create super user. Let's give it a password. Oh, the password didn't match. Let's try that again. Alright, so super user created successfully. Let's go ahead and run our server. As you can see, the server started, and if you open it up, you can see it's the Django app is running. Let's go to our admin, and let's let's log in. What? Seem to have forgotten the password. Right? I don't know why that took 3 tries to do so, but anyway, as you can see, we have our model here, and we can let's create some entries to ask questions. Uh, This the first question. Let it be, what is the name of the company? Why not? Uh, let's say the name is OpenCraft, right? And let's add another. Let's say I already have this question because I tried this before. So what will I do if I join? Uh, let's say work on various projects. Save. Let's save this. So we can see our entries here. One thing I would like to display is the answers along with the questions. So let's modify our admin site to reflect the change. So class FAQ admin dot model admin. This display this disregard this part false. So what I want is the question text and the answer text. So if I save that, I still need to add it here. So once that registered, let's go back and refresh. I can see our answer text here. But one thing is that if if the answer is very long, so let's duplicate this a couple of times. Oh, won't. Let's duplicate this a couple of times, right? And then we can see that after I save this, we can see that the entire thing shows up here. And ideally, we would want a shortened version of this showing up. So let's do that. Uh, to do that, we create a property here. Create a property here. Property called short text, short answer. Let's say self. Uh, so Django already provides a built-in function to truncate our text. So let's import that Django.template.default filters import truncate chars. So let's do that. Truncate chars self dot answer text. And let's say we want the limit to be 100 characters. So when we save that, let's go to our admin, and instead of answer text, we do short ans. Right. So if we go back and refresh our page, you see like the answer is actually shortened. So let's edit this back and do what it was before. Save. Alright, now let's set up the API so our frontend can request data from this backend. To do this, we need two frameworks. The first is Django uh, REST framework, and the second one is Django CRS headers. So Django REST framework already provides a really good example of how we can set up quickly. So we're just going to follow and modify that. I already have the prerequisites set up. So let's add it to our installed apps. Add it to our installed apps. Where is it? Where is it? Here. Right. And now let's go back. Add our permission for the REST framework. We want it to be only GET requests that are permitted if it's anonymous uh, person, and if the person has full permissions, then we want all full access to the REST framework. All right, then the REST framework needs two classes, a serializer and a viewset. So let's make those for our apps. Let's first create the serializer.py. So we're going to copy this and modify it for our case. So copy, paste, let's change user to FAQ. Let's import this from port FAQ. Alright, and we need to import our serializers from REST framework import serializers. So now that's done, let's copy and modify our view set. Let's go to views.py and add this here and change this to FAQ and .models import FAQ and from .serializer import uh, what is FAQ serializer? FAQ serializer and from REST framework import view sets. So let's save that and this framework uses a router. While we can choose to not use the router, I feel like router makes the task for this purpose a bit easier. So we're just going to add it. Um, let's import from REST framework, import routers, right? And just make this FAQ view set and import that. And last but not the least, okay, change this to FAQs, right? And last but not the least, let's add our paths. Let's only add this path. Uh, this path here helps with the login part, but for this demonstration, we really don't need to log in. Um, so we'll just copy this path here. We change the endpoint to API slash, and then we include, and that looks good. Let's check. Let's check. Let's see how it seems on our browser. Go to API slash API. Alright, that looks good. We can select this, and since we didn't define anything yet, it will not show up, or there was an error, it seems. If properly username is not valid for FAQ. Oh, I see what the issue is. The issue here is in serializer. We forgot to change these. So, what we want is the ID, we want the URLs, we want the question text. Ideally, we just need the question text and the answer text, but it's nice to have the ID and the URLs too. And then you'll be like full-fledged applications will most likely be needing those answer text. So save that. Let's refresh and let's go to our API. Still showing an error, and the error is URLs is not valid for uh, oh, URL. Okay, I'm not mistaken. Field name did it not. Alright, now it's showing. So we go to our API root, and if we select, we can see the ID, the URL, the question, and the answer text. So that's ideally our what the front end will be querying. They will send a GET request to this endpoint. Uh, To do that, since our frontend will be on a different port, we need help of the course headers, CORS headers. So let's add that to our CORS. We add it in settings.py. Uh, add it here, add it here. And then we need the middleware. So let's add the middleware here, and then uh, oh sorry, what? We'll need this the allowed origins. So we copy this and add it here. But we only want to allow one origin, right? The local host, and we only want to allow the port 3000 since that's where the port our content is going to be using. And we also want to only allow the get request. So we change this, right? So this and this, right? That looks good. Let's see if anything changed on the API side. Go to our API route. That looks good. We can add a new question. Everything looks good. So now we need to integrate our backend seems good. Now we need to integrate our backend to our frontend. So let's do that. Let's go to the server. Um, let's cd into the frontend. All right. While the frontend loads, we'll give it some time for the content to load. If you watched the first video, remember we were reading out data from a predefined uh, variable, a list variable. In this video, we're going to change it so that this list is passed down as a prop with a component, and uh, we're going to be since this is a Next.js project, we're going to be using the get static props function to uh, request the fetch the data from the backend API. So let's go ahead and do that. So firstly let's delete this. We don't need this. Nextjs actually has a really good example, and we're just going to copy and modify that. So let's call let's learn GitHub. So basics demo pages index. Right, we're going to be implementing this function called getStaticProps. This function actually uh, passes the our required list as a prop to our component. So we'll do this. GetStaticProps. Let's change this to FAQ list and change this to get FAQ uh, list. What is the first question? Get FAQ. Let's call it get FAQ data. Right? So we still need to implement this function, and this function is to implement this function, we need to create a file in the lib folder. We'll call this faq.js, and let's export this export function uh, get FAQ data. Let's check if this name matches this name. All right, looks good. Now we're going to fetch our result uh, using the fetch API. Fetch, say await, fetch, and let's copy this. Let's copy this uh, URL. Right. Oh, we need to pass as sync, right? And we say res dot, sorry, FAQ list is equals to res dot JSON. Now, we're not going to do any checking here to see if it actually was successful in fetching this, but ideally we would want to do the checking part here. But uh, for for simplicity's sake and keeping this demo simple, we're just going to simply return uh, the FAQ list. All right. So here we need to wait for this function. All right. Looks good. Let's pass the prop as a FAQ list as a prop, and then here we want to change this to question text and this to answer text. Right. So let's start our backend and then our front end to see if it's working. So cd backend uh, Python manage run server. So the backend will start up, and this one is npm run dev. So let's run this. We'll just wait a bit for the. Oh, it seems it compiled. So there's an error. The error is get FAQ data is not defined of this thing, so we didn't import it. So, and it's compiled successfully. So let's go check it out. And it says the res is not defined. That's right. So we're not in Python anymore, so we need to define this using const. Let's wait for it to load and see. It seems it's working correctly. If you remember, these were the questions that we asked, and it's automatically loading and displaying the function, displaying the question and the answer, and we can see the functionality is all there. It's closing, and when we open the card, the SVG changes. So let's add a new question to it, and like two more questions to it, and see how it's working. All right, so let's add a third question. Let's add a random question. Let's say, did you like this video? Video. So the answer is still deciding that anything. Save. And let's add another one from our API endpoint. So localhost, if you remember, it was at 8000 slash API. All right. So if we go to this API, You see, we, we don't have the option to add. It's because we didn't add the URL for. Uh, let's go ahead and do that. So before that, let's see if we the question we added. Let's see if it shows up here. See, now it shows up. Did you like this video? Uh, let's go ahead and add the function to log in to our API in React. Sorry, Django REST framework. The REST framework, and this one was we just need to append this URL here, and let's open another terminal. So cd slash backend. Alright, so we just go to the URLs and then we change, add it here, add our URLs here. Alright, everything seems good. Save it, and it should change our backend. Let's go ahead and see. FAQ. Let's see, now we can log in. So let's log in. Assuming I can remember the password. Alright. So now now that we logged in, we can answer add questions. So what question can we add? Um, do you have any feedback? And, I don't know. Please give a feedback. So we post this. So you see it's added, and if we refresh this page, and you can see you can add it's added here as well, and all the functionality is still there. So that looks good. Well, I think I'm going to keep this video till now, and maybe in a future video we'll focus on the design a bit more and make sure we cross check every small details and make it really look nice. And one more thing is, since this is done using Nextjs, um, and we're just using get static props. Uh, this is not actually if like in a production environment when the data changes, the page will not change because the page has already been built using previous data. To solve this, we need to use ISR or dynamic ISR. So maybe in a future video, we'll set it up to our Django backend using Django signals. So whenever the data changes, our page is automatically rebuilt and re-updated without requiring manual effort. But that's for a future video. Uh, if you like the video or if you have any feedback from the video, please do comment and let me know. And I hope you enjoyed. See you in a future video.